Active release technique is very specific deep tissue work that targets muscles that are injured or may have developed scar tissue. Providers are highly trained in being able to perform this kind of technique outside of their normal schooling. Active release technique is a movement-based technique that's very specific, where it basically targets muscles from their origin to their insertion point, working to break up scar tissue and muscle adhesions. There are various types of conditions that can be treated with active release technique. Some of those include golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, also known as epicondylitis, shin splints, and also chronic tension headaches that can stem from cervicogenic, basically cervicogenic pain. Active release technique can also treat carpal tunnel syndrome, shoulder strains and sprains and rotator cuff injuries, as well as plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis is pain at the bottom of the foot, which we've found that shockwave therapy can also be very helpful with. Active release technique is very good at breaking up scar tissue. And scar tissue is basically fibrous tissue that's crisscrossed like this, which make the muscle harder to move, and we lose sometimes a little bit of mobility. Scar tissue can be between muscle and muscle, muscle and ligament and nerves. And active release technique works really hard to break up these scar tissues or muscle adhesions. Again, scar tissue is fibrous tissue that's crisscrossed and can cause, impairment in mobility. There are certain specific symptoms of scar tissue that can be stiffness in the neck or the back. That could mean pinpoint pains at the bottom of your feet. They can also be sharp pains in and around the heel, decreased strength, reduction in flexibility, inflamed joints, sometimes even presenting with tingling and numbness. And the way it does that is if scar tissue is blocking the blood flow, then we can see some of that tingling and numbness into the extremities. So active release technique has a multitude of benefits, including increase in ranges of motion, mobility, which ultimately allows you to perform your activities at a much higher level. Yes, it can. It can be presented with residual soreness and sometimes with a little bit of pain and bruising, but most of our patients we found recover fairly well and quickly, ultimately resulting in less pain, less chronic pain, and just better movement throughout their day. And that can mean, your star athlete, amateur athlete, your weekend warrior that goes out and does something crazy. So all age groups, all demographics can truly benefit from active release technique by a licensed provider. Sometimes we get the question of whether active release technique can help prevent surgery. Lots of times we have been able to delay or even prevent surgery. Specifically, an example I can think of is a patient that we had at the clinic last week who's been coming to us for a few months now for carpal tunnel syndrome. And carpal tunnel syndrome is where we lose blood flow and we have occlusion of the nerve because of the tightness around the wrist. We're able to release that through active release technique or ART, which help them get feeling and less pain into their hands, ultimately preventing surgery altogether. They're super thrilled to have found us at our San Francisco clinic. And issues such as this can definitely arise in other parts of the body that active release technique can help and even prevent surgical interventions. So if you or a loved one that you know is suffering from any sort of musculoskeletal injury um, at any of the extremities, the neck, the back, give us a call and let's get you on our schedule so we can see what's going on and see if active release technique or ART is the best type of therapy for you. So if you're suffering from any sort of sports injury or any joint issues, give us a call at our San Francisco clinic. My name is Dr. Supreet Shah, and we have many different providers at our clinic that are trained in being able to perform active release technique. So that way we can get you better as quickly as possible so you can go back to doing what you love. At our San Francisco clinic, we are versed in treating many different injuries with active release technique. Give us a call as soon as possible to get on our schedule with one of our trained providers so we can get started.